Hey everybody, welcome to the channel. This is the Conscious Pilgrim. My name is Dave Johnston. I had originally planned to talk about connection to environment, how important that is for your soul and for your mental health. But I live in the province of Alberta, up in Canada, and I'm not particularly fond of my environment here in the middle of the month of February. So we're going to save that for another day when I'm a little bit more positive about it. We're feeling some above average temperatures right now, but there's a pretty frosty wind blowing through the city right now. And if you're here for the weather report, it's cold. It's cold and I don't like it. This video is coming a little bit later than planned. I've got a close family member in the hospital that I've had to dedicate some time to. I've had a bit of a schedule change that is altering the training schedule a little bit, so I'm updating that, and the training schedule should be up around the same time as this video. The other thing that delayed things a little bit for us was that we got COVID. COVID-19 was wild. We got off pretty easy. Luann got some pretty mild symptoms. I had slightly less mild symptoms than Luann did, but a little sore throat, some body chills, a bit of a cough. Nothing too serious, but it slowed us down for a couple days, and we were fairly concerned about how fast we were going to be able to get back to training. I'm happy to say that the very day that I was released from my isolation vacation, I swam 1,000 meters, and the next day I managed to bike 37 kilometers and then run for 25 minutes. So I think that my lungs are in shape still. We've been training hard ever since. Aside from a little part of our training schedule that got essentially deleted by having COVID-19, we picked up right where we were supposed to be, and we're still on track for our race day of 4th of May. So I figured I'd talk a little bit about Zone 2 training. There are basically 5 heart rate zones that we can operate in between resting and maximum effort. They look like this, and what we want to be in is Zone 2 for as long as we possibly can. There's a couple of different ways to determine whether you're or not you're in Zone 2. We'll get to that in a second. So the formula to determine 60% of your maximum heart rate is this, and the formula to determine what is 70% of your maximum heart rate is this. And what we want to do is we want to stay between these two numbers right here. So for me, I am hanging out between 122 beats per minute and 138 beats per minute about the top end. So I typically shoot for high 20s, particularly on the treadmill where I can monitor my pulse pretty actively. I am not using a Garmin sports watch at this point. We have plans to get into that in the not too distant future. So right now we're sort of winging it, which is not super accurate. After a few months, which is the kicker, of hanging out in Zone 2 training, week to week, you will retrain your mitochondria to fuel itself from your fat stores rather than your glycogen stores, which means that you'll be slimming down your waistline rather than just burning all the food you ate before it turns into fat stores. You will see some body composition change, but it will take time. Another advantage is that gradually, as these muscles build, you'll be able to move faster and for longer periods of time without your heart rate skyrocketing and going up into zone 3 and zone 4, thereby wearing yourself out. Now, zone 3 is where a lot of people spend their time, especially those doing high intensity interval training. And when you're in zone 3, you tend to rely on glycogen stores, which is, in layman's terms, is basically food that you've eaten fairly recently. A good indicator that you spend a lot of time in zone 3 is that when you're finished your cardio session, you are ravenously hungry. And we're trying not to find ourselves in that situation. I've still got some fat that I'd like to burn, and I'm going for endurance. A number of great athletes are huge advocates of zone 2 training or 80-20 zone 2 training. 80-20 being 80% of the time you're training for zone 2 and 20% of the time you're seeing how far and how fast your body can go. The one thing that I will say is that if you're accustomed to going fast, you're going to find that zone 2 training is super frustrating. If you're going for distance and if you're going for longevity, zone 2 is for you. I highly recommend looking into it. I will drop a couple of links underneath this video. Thank you so much for tuning in. My name's Dave Johnston, and this has been and will continue